panel. Guys, give it up. The legend, the greatest babysitter of all time, Mr. Kurt Russell.
Hello? You guys are fun.
Kurt, your very first FanExpo, very first experience, how was this weekend different than what you expected it to be?
It's pretty much like I thought it would be, except for the people.
How so?
Well, I've been to Comic-Con and done some things when you're getting your movie that you're doing is coming out and you're promoting it. But it's not the same concept. And all my life, you deal with autograph seekers and stuff. And I got to a point where I was in my life and I said, I can retire from signing if I want to. And a lot of people you were signing, you're becoming their source of income. And so that level of thinking goes into your head, and it just becomes kind of a negative. You don't want to go to the airport, just get through it without the hassle of it. And so FanExpo in my mind was kind of in that category. It was like, okay, these are people that just want to get it and go sell it or do something, make money, and I don't like that part of it. And when I say I'm surprised by the people, you guys really do. It's very sweet. But I mean, what I discovered is that I don't really think, I always make movies and make whatever it is I do because I want to. And I hope you like it. That's the good part. But I don't make movies for you, for what you want. I don't know how to do that. I only know how to do something I want to do that I hope you like. So when you do, that's always really fun. What's interesting about learning and Wyatt was the one, my son Wyatt said, "Paul, you need to go to one of these. I think you'd be really surprised by it." And I really have been for the last 2 days. You're different. You're true fanatics. You're not just working something. And from my point of view, it's a wonderful thing because I never really looked at it from the point of view of doing something that could be appreciated that much. And I realize how much you guys appreciate stuff like the Portland Mavericks. I love your journey. This is cool, man. You guys are funny, you're fun, and you're very welcoming. I really want to say thank you, and thank you to Wyatt for saying to me, "Paul, you need to do this." So I'm glad I did. Winter. No, but it did a fantastic thing last night. Billy Baldwin, who's a wonderful guy. His first movie was Backdraft. And he's just a great, he's like a younger brother. He's a wonderful, wonderful person. But he has this great ability to actually be able to organize and do things that when you're talking about it, you like to do. Like, hey, we should get together. I'm terrible at that because I'm one of the world's perfect examples of, hey, yeah, let's do that. Right, this isn't gonna happen. This isn't gonna happen. Your life goes on and you get kids and grandkids and that's what happens. So Billy said, I'm getting the guys together from Backdraft and it'd be great, to see it. And it's been 35 years. So last night, after 35 years, I got to see all the guys on Backdraft. Yeah. And we had a great time. It was just really wonderful. So in that regard, yeah, I had a really great time here doing that. As far as the physicality of me, I haven't seen much of Chicago. Actually, I've seen these buildings that are.
It's such a quintessential Chicago movie. This is a nerdy piece of trivia. Do you remember what the dog's name is in Backdraft?
I remember there was a dog.
There's kind of the firehouse dog. Does anybody remember?
I don't.
The Thing.
That's funny. I know. I don't. It's funny. I'm not a good yesterday guy.
That's exactly what the moderator of a panel wants to hear.
Exactly. Yeah. I'll do my best.
You're doing a great job. Listen, I don't know this for a fact, but I'm pretty sure you're the first person to sit on a FanExpo stage who can answer this question. What is it like playing ping pong with Walt Disney?
Yeah.
Wow,
Yes,
good
yeah.
reaction.
I'm not sure how widespread his ping pong fame was. But I was about 13 years old when I first worked there, and did just have the opportunity. Sometimes we go to lunch, and there was a ping pong table just outside the cafeteria, and inside the cafeteria there was a place where there was a room for executives and stuff, and the windows looked out there. One day he saw me, and I waved at him, and he'd come out and play ping pong with me. You know, I was a good ping pong player, and
How was he?
But the competition was tough. I mean, my stand-in was a Pacific Coast champion, so that's Mickey. So I was really working with Mickey. So when Mr. Disney would come out and we'd play, we'd kind of go, he'd go a little easier, but he got pretty good, you know. So I did. I had a wonderful opportunity to spend some time with a man who was a phenomenal human being, and he reminded me a great deal of my grandfather. He was very creative, and I was very lucky in that he spent the time to show me around all the departments and kind of learn the game. And I didn't know it at the time, but he was just being very, on top of being generous, it was lucky for me. He said, I know you're going to be a ball player. I know that's what, that's what's in front of you. But you never know what happens. He said, maybe you lose your interest in it, maybe you get injured, you just never know. And I think you should look at this business as one that you could maybe also really enjoy. And he understood truly who I was as a teenager, and we had really some really good times together.
Love that.
Yeah.
How many times, do you remember a number? The number of times you were allowed to kick Elvis in the shin?
I know that he was worried about it. Because there was a little tiny pad that we had that I was going to kick it into. And I said, I won't miss it. Don't worry about that. But I worked with him for a week in Seattle, and then I think I worked a week at MGM in Culver City, California. So I probably kicked him a lot. I never missed the pad.
Pretty good attitude about it?
Yeah, he was great. He was just a really wonderful guy. I played him years later,
Sure.
And John Carpenter was the director of that. And I had a lot of things to see and whatnot, and of course the script to go off of. But it was I'd say probably 70-80% of my memory of him was what I was using.
Obviously, you played him years later. You played a guy who dressed as him, 3,000 Miles to Graceland. Is it true that you are the voice of Elvis in Forrest Gump?
Yes. Bob Zemeckis, we had done used cars together, and he said, would you do this thing for me? I said, whatever it is, what is it? He said, I've got this stuff, and I'd like to have you do the voice for the guy that we shot. So I said, sure. So
That's not you on set with Forrest.
That's another actor. I never knew who the actor was. I don't know who it was or why he couldn't. I don't know what I never asked Bob.
Yeah.
I said, what do you want me to do? And I was like,
I love that.
so long as you run.
Okay. Is it that easy? No, I'm not going to ask you to do it in front of all.
No, it's like funny. It's funny. I don't do that.
Yeah.
But it was like, coming up with stuff that, when you're playing somebody, it takes you a little while to get in the groove.
I'm always curious, particularly with, whether it be voices or, if someone dropped $1 billion and said, hey, turn into Snake Plissken, like...
$1 billion? Anybody get $1 billion? I'll work it that real hard. I'll cut my eye out for you. It's a lot of money, man.
Is it that? Is it possible to do it like that, or is it legit like that? You got to give me a minute.
Yeah, no, I don't have that ability to because I don't know, you get into it, and you start thinking about it, and then there's also for any character you're playing, I find that there's key words and key phrases and key thoughts that never fail you, that can help you out.
Like a weigh-in?
Exactly.
Yeah. When it comes to, I mean, I honestly think Snake Plissken is one of the greatest character designs of all time.
That's an interesting one.
It's how much of that
That was tough. That was tough because I don't know why, but I quickly had a vision of what he looked like and the way he was. John had written the screenplay so succinctly that it was easy to see that. But I couldn't get the sound. And I was listening to this album from a band called Kraftwerk. From the Kraftwerk? Yeah. And it just to me, at the time, you have to go back to 1980. Of course, none of you weren't around then. But it was like, in 1980, Kraftwerk was very futuristic sounding. And of course, in 1980, we were doing 1997, so that was quite far into the future for the thinking of it. And I do remember listening to Kraftwerk and then beginning to get a feel for that time period. What would that be? And what would be the things that we could connect up to that would make sense and not get too... It would fit John's vision. And I was just reading the script and talking to John. And then Lee Van Cleef was cast. Woo! Yeah, to play Hal. And I just went, now I know what to do. If Lee Van Cleef is going to be Hal, I'm going to sound like that.
Kurt, you can't tell me that you have an inability to slide into characters and then the entire panel. Because I'm just going to start listing them all out. I'm a big fan of a very specific type of movie. It's where two people who clearly do love each other play roles where they hate each other. I think you and Goldie in Overboard is the perfect example. It's just the most fun chemistry to watch because you're so good at hating each other.
It was an interesting thing because Goldie was working with Anthea Silbert, who was her partner at the time, and Goldie and I had been together for a number of years. We decided fairly quickly in our relationship that just because we were in love with each other and we wanted to live with each other, etc., it wasn't a reason to have to work together. And we didn't do similar type movies. I mean, the Goldie Hawn movies are Goldie Hawn movies, and the movies I was doing a lot of at the time with John Carpenter were not, a long way from foul play. So it was different. I just thought of something, but it's like the first time we were together, in that, just to give you the depth of that, somebody said, we should play that movie that Kurt did. It was recent, it was just before we met. And I said, I'm not so sure about that. But Goldie's mom was there. She said, I want to see it. And Goldie's mom was very basic, very real, salt of the earth. She had a great voice, and she kind of talked like that. And she said, I want to see it. The movie was a thing. And about 20 minutes into the movie, after the talk, she literally said, I'm sorry, I can't watch this. She was gone. So that was we weren't doing the same kind of things. But Goldie and Anthea were looking at some scripts, and Anthea said, hey, can you read this as a sample for something we were thinking of doing? I said, sure. So I was just doing that. I was reading it, and I was reading the script. I don't forget what the working title was. And I said, well, we're not, this is like written for us. And it was. And she had written the two characters in Overboard with Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell as her template characters, even though it wasn't being sent to her for that purpose. And I said to Anthea, you guys should both read this. That's pretty good. I think it's really funny. So we'll see. And we ended up, they loved it, so we ended up doing the movie together.
You have a line delivery in that movie where you see her on TV, I believe. And I believe you say something along the lines of, it's the bitch! You ever deliver a line and then in the back of your mind go, yeah, that was really good?
No, actually. I surprise myself sometimes. I surprised myself in Tombstone one time.
How so?
There was was the moment where the brothers and now one brother was killed and now the Sam Elliott is leaving on the train. And Wyatt Earp, who was just an entrepreneur, he just wanted to make money. Finally, this thing had come to a crushing finality of death and destruction, and everything in his life was gone wrong. And he just wanted to kill somebody. He just done with these guys. And so now we're coming up there tonight. I forget how the scene went exactly, but finally, Ike is down on the ground, and I got my spur on him. I ripped his chin with the spur. And I say, "Run, you cur." And so he takes off running. And the line was, "You tell him I'm coming, and hell's coming with me." And it just hit me like a ton of bricks, and it was a line reading that came out of my mouth that I didn't, it was like, no, it's not. I realized the thinking that went behind it is not, "You tell him I'm coming." You tell him I'm coming. That's a bad deal. You tell him, in other words, you have fucked with the wrong cowboy. Right? And now you called down the thunder, now you got it. And that was out of my mouth came, "You tell him I'm coming." And I was coming with me. And it was like, yeah, I did say, that's actually what should be said. That's what it is. So I was like, I got it just in time.
That's one of the...
You tell him I'm coming, and hell's coming with me, you hear? Hell's coming with me!
That's one of the great posters of all time, and the only thing I think that could make it better is the tagline, "You fucked with the wrong cowboy." I'm going to pop around because there's a lot of things we were going to get to. There was a story that I had heard that I'd love the behind-the-scenes story. On The Hateful Eight, a.k.a. Quentin Tarantino's The Thing, there is...
In a lot of ways.
There is a scene where you smash a guitar. And the story I'd always heard was that not only were you not supposed to smash that guitar, it was a priceless guitar.
Urban legend stuff. Yeah.
Urban legend stuff.
Complete bullshit.
Is it really?
Truth. No, it's a real simple story. It was like, what was sweet about it, or sad about it, was Jennifer was learning this song, and she was learning it on a guitar, So it was months, weeks, months she was working on this song. And I knew it meant a lot to her, and I was thinking to myself, I'll bet you'll probably want that guitar when you're done, because it'll always be something that you worked hard at, and blah, blah, blah. And so Quentin actually and I worked on a Saturday afternoon or a Sunday with the guitar, smashing it on the post to see where it would go, to see what would happen to it. And so it was all pre-set. So everybody knew what was going on. And on the day we were going to shoot it, we just got to the point where we do this on many different scenes, especially stunts. Stunts are done this way. Everything's set up so that you've got an out. And if you reach that point in the stunt where and everybody's not in exactly the right position, or you're not feeling it for whatever reason, you take the out. You just go, no. And so on that one, it was like, okay, so I'm going to smash this guitar and thing. So you cut or you don't cut. If you cut, stop. If you don't cut, I keep going. Like, that's the way you do it. And I didn't realize that she had practice guitars, but she had a real guitar that she was using in the show. And I didn't know there was a difference. But I assumed that. And so we're doing the scene, and we get to that point, and he and I are good. So we get to the scene, get to that point in the scene, and no cut. So I smashed the guitar and thing. And I turned around and the minute I saw Jennifer's face, I knew something was very wrong. I was like, no. And I'm thinking to myself, whatever, you will figure it out. It says like, stay in the scene, And she's looking at me. And she could just be acting too, I don't know. And I said, sit down, music time's over. And I make a good chain together. We sit down, but now I can begin to really feel just. And as soon as it's cut, I said, "What's wrong?" And he said, nothing. I said, no, what's wrong? She said, well, I said, was that guitar the guitar that you had been practicing with? And she said, yeah. And I said, that's the one. I said, were you going to keep it? She said, yeah. And I went, that's bad. That's really bad. But the value of the guitar, and I've never met any of the people, was it Gibson? I've never met any of the people from Gibson or anything. But came from the prop department. I don't know where they got the guitar or whatever. But then soon thereafter, the value of the guitar went from $15,000 to $25,000 to $50,000, and within a couple of years, it was priceless. So either the people at Gibson are really stupid, in which case you don't send to a Quentin Tarantino set a priceless guitar that's going to be smashed. Or it's urban legend, and I think a guitar is maybe worth $8 to $10 grand or something like that. That's my guess. If it was priceless, well, I don't know.
The camera pans over.
All I know is he says, "Oh yeah," because he says whatever he says.
And the monster is on the truck.
Checks in the mail or something like that.
But the camera
And
pans
the camera pans down, and it's a John Carpenter moment. It's just, have you had fun? Yeah.
Did you ever have any kind of a serious conversation about a sequel? Bigger Trouble in Little China?
You gotta understand that Big Trouble in Little China was a flop when it came out. It was a financial flop.
Would you guys? So it was 2
tank.
weeks before Aliens?
What's that?
You opened 2 weeks before Aliens.
It wasn't that. It was horribly marketed, but it was sabotaged. It was also sabotaged.
How so?
No question. Well, the new head of the studio said bury it, and he did. And that's just, it was a beef. And it was like, it's not the first time that's happened, and they didn't know how to, you couldn't find where the movie was playing 4 days before it came out, it was buried, and that was the way it was. It didn't matter. What was great was that there's these things called, CDs and, what do you call them, tapes, VHS.
And fans with good taste.
Yeah, this thing, and it really, but that was strange too, because when we did do some of the junket for it, before he said, put it to sleep, it was one of those movies where you do the junket and some of the people were, because they loved it, they actually kind of loved the movie for the most part. And I can remember 4 or 5 people in that thing saying, how's it feel to know you're going to have the biggest summer hit there is? And it was like one of those things where you just kind of keep your humility to yourself and you say, well, you never know. You never know how it's going to go. You hope it does well. And in your mind, you're thinking, this could be really big. And then it just did nothing. It just did nothing. It was like, oh, you never know. But that's sort of what that was what that feeling of what that was then. So there was no immediate talk about it.
There is one film in your filmography that I have not brought up yet. And I haven't brought it up because I don't think I'm the best person to talk to you about it. And the reason I say that is because, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to welcome to the stage Mr. Keith David and Mr. John Carpenter.
On the thing, then on Big Trouble, they didn't bury the thing. The thing was so horrific at that time that it was a very difficult thing for the audience to get past what the monster looked like.
You're right.
It was just a hard thing for them to do.
They're a bunch of assholes is what they were.
They grew up.
We got buried by the critics and the fans. They thought I had raped the Madonna because the original movie, The Thing from Another World, and it's a beloved movie. I love that movie, but they thought I had done it bad. So it took years
For them to understand what you told me,
Yeah.
we had an interesting situation because John cast me very late in the movie, and we'd been talking about guys who could play the part. We were friends, so we were just talking about stuff, and John said to Larry Franco, he said, let's see if Kurt wants to talk. So I thought, okay, well, now I got to read it again and think. So I read it, and I said, John, okay, it's kind of, it's cool. What is it? He said, well, I said, it's, it's a horror movie thing. He said, no. This is a movie about paranoia. And my brain just went, oh, yeah, okay, wait a minute. Now I figured, then I was like, oh, God, this is gonna be really good. But I made that transition myself because I didn't know what John was doing until he told me, he said, no, this is what I'm doing.
It was your first movie, young man.
It was my very first movie. Now, I'm gonna tell you something that I heard what's his name? He was on.
This is what happens.
This is what happens. Give us a hint. He was on. I like playing this game.
I like this game.
It wasn't MacGyver. It's just up for a new reboot.
Really?
What was it? He went on Magnum P.I. Oh, Magnum P.I. The brother that was on Magnum P.I. His name I can't remember.
Yeah.
I heard he was cast first, and then
Tom Selleck?
Not Tom.
I'm just playing the game.
Yeah.
His name won't come to me, but he was the helicopter driver. Roger Mosley.
See, they always.
Well done.
Got it.
No, that's what I heard. He turned it down, and then
That helicopter that he was riding around in, that was what I learned on. I love that thing. I'm a helicopter pilot.
Yeah.
Wow.
This guy's a pilot. I'm a helicopter.
He's a helicopter pilot.
I had to find out if I had the courage to do what I was making these guys making movies about. And I said, what about me? I'm scared of everything. So I'm going to find out when I got my pilot's license, helicopter.
Wow.
It's a big fucking deal. Let me tell you, I'm sorry.
It's a real world, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we can't. I don't fly anymore, and he doesn't either. Because
Those days are over.
if you're not flying every day, you're not safe. Believe me.
I think one of the greatest people we can pay tribute to in regards to the thing is the great Mr. Botine.
Yes.
And I'd love to know, do you guys have a memory of the first time you saw one of his practical creatures on set?
I remember him auditioning for the movie. He had the secret. He said, well, it's imitated everything it's ever been in contact with, so it can look like anything. I said, ooh, that's pretty interesting. Pretty interesting. He got a couple creatures together and showed. It was good stuff. Rob should have had a better career in the business than he did. Unfortunately,
Well, if you ever interview special effects guys, what do you call that? It's
special makeup.
special makeup. They all still bow down to Rob. I mean, look at the thing is the movie, the guy, the start of anything in that category. He's the end all.
It's a quintessential example of they don't do it like that anymore.
That's right.
They don't.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, they made a sequel, I guess, or something.
They tried.
Norwegian Camp. Did you see that piece of crap?
If it didn't have Larry Franco up there in the helicopter, what's the point?
Let me tell you, they did digital effects, and they had instead of a blood test, it was a dental test.
Why? Because everybody hates to go to the dentist.
Well, yeah. I mean, it was unreal. It's like, what? The dentist?
John doesn't suffer fools greatly, guys.
Anyway, I'm sorry. I apologize.
Do you remember the first time we came in and saw the dog sitting by the door and everybody thought it was real?
Yeah.
I mean, it scared the crap out of me. I mean, you walk into the door to the studio and there's that mechanical dog that was all done with air pumps.
Animatronics and stuff, yeah. Amazing.
And it was wild.
Now I'm going to say something now. I'm going to preempt a little bit here. Ending scene, these two gentlemen did a great fucking scene. Let me tell you. Over the years, people have asked me, who was the thing? Was it McCready? Was it Child? Okay, these two have no clue. Because the thing is a perfect imitation of a human. They wouldn't know. but I know. And maybe, if you guys get your wallets out, get some money out, I'll be glad to tell you.
I know he's got $1 billion he's hiding somewhere.
You and I spoke last year, and I started a question with Mr. David. I'd really love to ask you a question about the thing. And before I could get into my question, you went, "It's not me."
My answer is, it's so if you think so.
Did you get asked a lot?
That's the most frequently asked question that I get.
Do you ever get asked that? You?
They just sort of take for granted what I'm going to say, which is, I don't know, let's just sit around here and see what happens.
When he wrote that ending line, this guy's really good.
John and I had worked together a lot, and one of the fun things for me is to try to get inside John's head, and whatever movie he wants to make is, I promise you, going to be a really fun one to make. So just get in line and have a good time. And do what he wants to do. And we did talk, but there was, John was, I remember, John, I remember you for the first time, because it was that situation, not being 100% sure what you wanted to do at the end, what you wanted the end to be, and where, because I remember the most important thing, or I remember the most said thing was, what was sticking in your craw was, and what you said to me was, I take people on a 2-hour ride to bring them back to square one. And I thought that was a great, it was like, boy, man, I'm glad I'm not directing this movie. I'm glad it's up to you and not me. Gee, I don't know, John. It's like, easy to say, easy to like be a part of that. But I do remember that you were concerned about that. And then we started talking about it. But also, that movie was, of anything I've ever worked on, all the actors, you do remember, we talked endlessly about what the possibilities were. We tried to figure it out, and we did everything audiences have done for, how long, 40 years now, something like that? And Keith, you remember those conversations? I mean, they were endless
conversations. Finally, I do remember, listen, fellas, this is the movie we're going to make, and we're not doing it rehearsed anymore. We're not going to ask any more questions.
There was some pressure from above, from the studio. They were very worried about our ending. Very worried. No, the one we shot. So I started.
That's a good sign.
Not good. But what they wanted to do was make it happy. Make it happy ending.
I've had the pleasure of working on 5 things with John. And the one thing I could always depend on, and that I always knew and never had to even think about, I never once saw John struggle between making a decision that was the commercial decision versus what was the right decision in his mind for the story. He doesn't have it. You don't have that gene. He just doesn't have it. I mean, I could name names of people who do, but he doesn't have that. He just makes what John always did, what he thought was right for the story, the journey that he was taking everybody on. The one great thing about John Carpenter movies is, and I'm proud of you for this, and I'm proud to know you. Really lucky to have worked with you. But every John Carpenter movie is a John Carpenter movie. That's it. There's no like piecing together something that you've seen other people do in any way. You made your movies, man. You made the ones you wanted to make the way you wanted to make them.
The Elvis movie had a happy ending. It did. And you were doing the freeze frame deal.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it was a flashback, so because we weren't crazy about doing the drugs on the toilet scene at 42.
Poor Elvis.
Kurt, Keith, is there a John Carpenter film you're not in that a part of you goes, it would have been really cool to be in that one?
No, he's not. No, he's fine with it.
That's a good
This
question.
guy did that fight in the alley and they lived. That's unbelievable.
Most fun I ever had.
Is it really?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I mean, Riley taught me a couple of things that don't jump me from behind. So, yeah. Yeah, we had big fun. We rehearsed that, and we rehearsed it up the wazoo, you know.
For over a month, you guys rehearsed it.
Yeah.
You had it down cold.
It was great, except the first night that, you know, most of, you know, in the movies anyway, you don't have to be close for the camera angle to read a hit. And the first night we had a promo, and Entertainment Tonight was coming. So we get ready to rehearse, and we're rehearsing in front of them, and I get too close and hit him right in the face. Boom! And I'm like, oh shit, I'm sorry. He's like, come on, I'm so sorry.
We had that with Ox Baker on Escape from New York. Ox Baker's the guy, if you get Escape from New York, remember the big guy in the... This is funny because you're talking to a crowd. A lot of you probably have seen Escape from New York. If you've ever seen it. Remember the big ox in the ring when he's fighting a snake? And that guy was a sweet guy, but he was a real wrestler, giant wrestler. And you know, and I can say this, you know, in all honesty, because it happened. He killed his best friend in the ring. Okay, so he wasn't exactly dependable in there. And now we're going to do this scene, and he's working with it. And Dick Warlock and I are talking about it because he's my stuntman, and so we're going to be careful here now. Right? Sure enough, about 2 hours before we're going to shoot, as we're rehearsing, he hits Dick in the head with a baseball. And I don't know if we had the bat with nails in it. I forget what he had. He had a bat. He had a bat. That's what he had, a bat. And so I turn around. Larry Franco says, "You're in there." Larry's my brother-in-law, who's his first assistant for many years. And he said, "You're in there." And I said, "Oh, they get done already?" He said, "Nah." Dick walks by. He's got a baseball on his. He's getting hit right in. And it was like, okay, here we go. And it was like we had to deal with him. I told him like that. I said, I was a professional baseball player. I said, "You won't even see it coming, babe. So don't hit me."
You were fighting for your life?
I was like, I said, this, I got what this is, so. But those things you had to do, and I mean, that was the great thing, is I look back now, and we had so much fun.
You know it, man.
We had so much fun.
You never went to PT's with us, did you? You hear about PT's? Strip club outside of town. We all went. I don't think he ever went.
I missed that.
They had a daily double there. Wonderful. Just wonderful.
All right, guys, on that note, Kurt, you mentioned that you know who these people are. These are true fans. These are real fans. And I'd be honored, sir, if you just have the last note and talk to the people that came out to see you today.
I've never really talked to a lot of people that have done them, but I've talked to some, and they always kind of did talk about it a little bit differently, but I just go back to what I said in the beginning. I gotta say, it's taught me a lesson that it takes a lifetime sometimes to learn something because you go about certain things the way you do. I've never looked at it as a particularly admirable endeavor, acting. I love it. It's great. I can't think of a better way to make a living. You can't have more fun. But in my mind, it's never been admirable. It's not something I admire. The people who do it, I don't go, wow. Pilots, helicopter pilots, real pilots, yeah, I admire what you do. You step in against the guy who throws the ball 100 miles an hour and he's going to throw a really good slider at you. I respect what you do. So you have a lifetime of that. And you have a lot of practice at sort of not appreciating the other side, which is your side, you get to watch it. It's the only thing we don't get to do. When we go to work, our job is to try to make you believe this is the first time it's ever happened. right? So now we watch your reaction. And when you enjoy it as much as you do, the lesson that I've learned is not just to pay attention to that, but I do admire that. I admire you. So it's a long learning experience for some of us, but I do want to say thank you, and I hope you like whatever else we can come up with.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Keith David, Mr. John Carpenter,